Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers, and today we are in the middle of, I can't even remember where we are. I think we're doing Mad Men. I think that's, yes, we are. We've just done, we're in between Mad Men seasons. Garth, you, your lovely lover watches Mad Men, but you don't, but you've been told by your friends that you should watch it.
Can I just ask, Tom, this podcast isn't for Mad Men, is it?
No, it's not. Surprise.
I haven't completely misread this email because I thought I was here for the Big Lebowski. I have not seen Mad Men. So
it's a live watch. We're going to watch my top 10 episodes.
I bet I would still find opinions though, Tom. We could talk about it and I'd be like, I don't like that bit. But you haven't seen it.
Well, there you go. No, you are spot on. Today we are talking about the Big Lebowski.
Hence the dressing gowns.
Hence the dressing gowns.
Believe it or not, this was my idea.
It was your idea for the robes.
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. You know, that or his dudeness or duder or, you know, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Employed?
Do you like sex, Mr. Lebowski?
Is this your only ID?
You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude.
Your name's Lebowski.
Jeff Lebowski, the other Lebowski, the millionaire. I received this ransom note this morning.
This is a bummer, man.
They want you to take the money and act as courier.
What do you mean, man? What the hell is this?
My dirty undies, dude. The whites.
Let's take that hill.
Why should we settle for 20 grand when we can keep the entire million?
I know you're mixed up in all this.
Playing one side against the other in bed with everybody.
Blow on them.
My rope has my name on it.
Mine's got a pocket that's loose. So there you go. I got you there. Garth, I gave you a list of 10 films.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you did.
And you picked The Big Lebowski.
Huh?
Fabulous stuff. What?
Who's sitting on $1 million?
We want some money.
Sitting in the trunk of our car.
Where's my damn money?
Say, dude, where is your car?
Who's got your undies, Walter?
This is a very complicated case, Maud. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs.
Is this your homework, Larry?
And I would like my undies back.
A lot of strands to keep in my head, man.
Whoa!
Hey, careful, man. There's a beverage here, huh?
I like your style, dude.
I have no choice but to tell these bums to do whatever is necessary to recover their money from you.
They were Nazis, dude?
They were nihilists, man. They kept saying they believed in nothing.
I even asked to be on it this time. Normally, guys, Tom begs me for weeks, non-stop emails, texts, WhatsApps. But this time I was like, Tom,
Letters.
I'm feeling letters. I bet you would send a letter, wouldn't you, Tom?
In my previous relationship, love letters were a big factor, yes.
Wow.
That's the problem. I want to get into a relationship again, but I know it'll be like another 5 months.
It's expensive because like quill ink is expensive. So you're actually saving money by not being in a relationship.
I was a ballpoint man. I had a very nice pen that was just for letters, and then it ran out of ink. So there you go. Job done, really. Garth,
top quality content from us, isn't it?
Welcome to the Pencast. What's your favorite? I love a blue ink.
I love it.
You figured, here's a loser, you know, a deadbeat.
Well, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
You cannot drag this negative energy into the tournament.
Jeffrey,
Maud?
love me.
That's my robe.
I'm throwing rocks tonight.
It don't matter to Jesus. This could be a lot more complex. I mean, it's not just, it might not be just such a simple, you know?
Actually, quickly, Tom, what color ink are you? If you had to pick
Black.
a colored ink, you're just black. How do you feel about blue?
This is the thing. I don't really care. I must drive some people insane because I am grab a pen. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
similar.
I will go black to blue.
Apart from green, I wouldn't write in green.
Oh no, I only write in black and blue.
Oh, because some people, I knew someone once who would only write on their script with a red pen, and I was like, it just, I don't know, it doesn't.
No,
it
that
feels
makes
weird under my skin.
No, that makes complete sense to me because black text, making the red notes. I would never. Yeah. That makes sense to me, and that's how they do it in the newspaper world
now as well. So I'd say, well, they're not famous. They're just not not me. So.
That's how they do it in the newspaper world. It goes higher up, so the writers use blue ink, I think. Then their editors use black or whatever, and then the top dogs use red. So that's where the big red pen comes from.
I bet you're going to get like that, Tom. You're going to be like,
only
writing red pen because I'm king of podcasts.
I am the king of podcasts. Garth, before I'm not going to list all of the 10 movies because
we're here for the film.
Send us on 5-minute tangents each time. But why Big Lebowski? What grabbed you? What's your relationship with the Big Lebowski?
You know what? The Big Lebowski for me is just I'm not even overselling it. It is like family to me. I watched it when I was far too young for it. I remember I watched it with my brother, and we had the video, I believe. Yeah, we must have done, and we watched it. I think we have been told we weren't meant to watch it, so it was even more like I think there's something like 260 fucks in it or something.
Yes,
it's an insane amount of fucks. I don't know, man. I'd never seen a film like it. And I rewatched it yesterday and I was like, wow, I still have never seen a film like this. It is something onto itself. So my opinion on it is so biased. I just love it. I can't say anything else. I don't think it's not storyline. It's storyline wise, it's not one of the best in the world. No. You know what I mean? But I do think it's got something that no other film has done.
I think at the end of the day, everybody watches a film and they have a different experience. But I'm pretty sure that everybody has the exact same experience with The Big Lebowski. But the first time they watch it and they go, that was really funny, but they're trying to catch up with the mystery and they're doing the mystery and they're really into that.
I missed something.
Oh, okay. So Julianne Moore's there. She's really funny and he's really funny and they're all really funny. But where does this come into the mystery? Yeah. And then the second time you watch it, you go,
"You're out of your element, Donnie."
You are Donnie. And the second time you watch it and go, "Okay, I know what's going to happen now, so I'll catch up on the mystery." And what happens is, you know what's going to happen, so you don't care about the mystery. And
for every scene, man,
all those little moments, it is pure perfection to me.
It's amazing. It's amazing because you could even class it. There's so many genres you could put in. You could class it as a stoner film, right?
Yeah.
But it's a stoner film with the lead protagonist being the dude. But I think anyone can enjoy it. You know what I mean? It doesn't stick itself in that genre because I know that my mum enjoys it. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's something in there for everything, and I think the chemistry between the three guys as a friendship group. It's just you can watch it all day, because you really believe in their friendship and the weird way that he treats Donnie and stuff. Like I've been in friendship groups where I've seen one person just cuss the other person, and you're always like, why? But it is just a thing.
I'm going to do some boring film history for you, Garth. Which
I love it when you do that. Can you do it in a posh accent, though, please?
I'll try. So, but I don't know what your relationship with noir films is, but those 50s, sort of 40s detective era movies where you've got the private dick or the ex-disgraced detective, and he's the smartest man and he's the most charismatic man, and he's going through this mystery and he's putting it all together and everybody loves him. And then you sort of get with Robert Altman's The Long Goodbye, which takes the real major book character of Philip Marlowe and instead makes him this lazy guy. He's got a cat and he's sort of fumbling through this, and then another 20 years later you get the further expansion of that, which is okay, what if the guy central to this mystery, having to figure it all out, is absolutely baked the entire time. He's drinking White Russians constantly. He doesn't work. And what
he's
if
happy? That's the key.
He's happy. Yeah.
That's why it works so well. Is I mean, there's that direct parallel, isn't there? He meets the man who has everything, but he's obviously not happy, and he has nothing, but he's just he is.
And then, you know, I mean, the final death of Donnie always hits me because
I also laugh at it every time.
Yeah.
But I also get very upset about it.
It's one of those things of the entire time, it's like a magic trick. The entire time you're looking at this big grand scale thing, and then, oh, wait a minute, Donnie's been getting strikes every time, and wait, how about halfway through, that was the last strike he ever did, and then this one, there's just one pin left, something's wrong with Donnie, and then he dies. And it's one of those things of, where you're so busy, and then suddenly a family member passes. You go, oh, wait, they weren't even ill. That sort of thing of you've been focused on everything all this time.
I never thought until you said that. It's actually quite a realistic look at grief and death, because you think it's going to be like the movies, but then it was just the suddenness and then the almost sad acceptance. You know, it wasn't played. It wasn't too, like, death isn't that dramatic, but they did it sincerely in a comedy. Is it a comedy? What genre would you put it as? You say it's a comedy?
I think, well, this is the thing. I think
it feels disrespectful, and I don't know why, because I find it hilarious.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I've had the argument for a long time that I think Wolf of Wall Street is actually the best comedy of the past 10 years, because you would never think of it in the same league as your Knocked Up or your Bridesmaids, but
Jonah Hill, man.
But laugh per minute, it may just be the best comedy of the past 10 years. And I think you've got that case here. I've seen this film an ungodly amount of times, and still laid in my bed this morning, laughing along. You know, you never heard of the Seattle 7? You know, it was me and 6 other guys. Even just the smallest little things make me laugh. And it is, especially in that first 20 minutes, it's insane how every single line is a zinger, or it's propelling the plot, or it's taking the piss out of the plot. Just astounding.
It's so well written. And I thought lines must be improvised. And then I was watching an interview of them just before we started this, and the 3 actors were there, and they were saying it wasn't improvised. A few lines were, but they said they had to get the script right because it was so funny. And the bowling alley scenes, I always assumed that they were like, they're so ridiculous. You know, I assume that can only come from improv.
Well, it came again from like in Fargo, the film, and everybody thought that it was improvised because of all of the wells and ums and and
that's what life's like. They write and real truth. Probably
William H. Macy's gone on the record multiple times as saying, no, I didn't spend hours in a room learning every well and for you to say it was improvised. And,
oh my God, I didn't even think of it from that perspective.
And well. Let's do YouTube comments. Let's see what people are saying. Pity the poor soul who had to condense this labyrinthian mindfuck of a film into a 2-minute trailer.
Fair.
It's fair.
And like, to be honest, but you know what all you need? All you need for the trailer is the opening scene of him in a supermarket in his fucking dressing gown. And he smells milk or something, but he's the most relaxed, happy man. He's just chilled, man. Like, he's fucking high in a supermarket. And I think that's just beautiful.
One of my favorite little things.
That's all you need.
Yeah, one of my favorite little things is all the time he reincorporates things he's heard. So in that supermarket scene when he's watching George Bush Sr. and he goes, "This aggression will not stand." And then later when he's trying to impress Lebowski, he goes, this aggression will not stand, man. You know, he's
Yeah.
throwing things, and then Julianne Moore goes, in the parlance of our times, and then later in the limousine, he completely uses it wrong, and he goes, you know, in the parlance of our times, man, and he's just using it completely wrong, but he knows it sounds a little bit smart, and so he's trying, again, to worm his way through this labyrinthian mindfuck, as that
line when he's like, hey, there's a beverage here or something, like, he gets hit by a guy, he's like, hey, man.
Drop a single drip. Excellent work. Very nice summation here. This movie is about nothing. Walter is a Jew, but he is not. There is a kidnapped woman, but she is not. Dude is the Lebowski, but he is not. There are nihilists, but they are not, since they care about money. The Dude and Walter are bowling players, but they never get to bowl. There is a money-full case. There was no money in it. The only relevant person was Donnie, but he did not survive. Donnie's ashes are thrown into the Pacific, but it preferred the Dude ashes. The Dude is more Pacific. Okay, so their summation has fallen flat because it's ineligible. But it started with something that made sense, yeah.
Oh, I heard something in the interview I was just telling you. I'll send it to you afterwards. Because it was done in like 2018 of them talking about the Big Lebowski. And one of them says a fan came over to him and gave a theory. And then all three of them start thinking about if the theory's right or not. It's one of those scripts where I feel like it is open for interpretation. But it's the idea that Donnie's not actually there the whole time, right? And he's, what's the Vietnam guy called? Walter.
Sobchak.
Just like a throwback because the Dude never talks to him ever. No. The only time he says, as he walks away, he's like, thanks, Donnie. And then he says, goodbye, Donnie. But there's never like direct conversation with them. And you're like, well, but all of them were like, well, that I guess like it's one of those films, you know, you can.
Yeah, I've heard the Donnie thing before. I've always
I haven't heard it before.
Ignored it because he does address him. He does say goodbye, Donnie, hello, Donnie, and all that. So it's.
But like, also, if he knows that he's his imaginary friend, like the Dude's aware of it, like he's aware that.
Okay.
That's the theory of it. Is he joins in with it because he's so like accepting of like his friend. Oh, the bit with the car. I just remember when he said, "This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass."
So you know, in American planes, they change lines so that there's no swearing.
Yeah.
Do you know what they changed? Do you know what happens when you fuck a stranger? Do you know what? This is what happens. This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps. doesn't really have the same ring.
It's still funny though.
Oh, it is still funny.
Great. And you know they've done it on purpose. Like they fully have been like, okay, no worries, we'll take the swearing out.
Let's get into the body of the film. 10-minute stretch. Here are my nominees, and then you can shout if I've missed anything. Opening 10 minutes with them at the bowling alley, and meeting those people, and the whole Chinaman conversation, and that's not the preferred nomenclature. We're not talking about the guys that made the railroad here, Walter, is one of the funniest exchanges of all ever written. And yeah, the introduction of just their three back and forth. I talked to a previous guest, David Robinson, and I said, what's your best single minute for Big Lebowski? And she said, definitely that first bowling alley scene. And I do have to agree. It really does bring us into that triple dynamic of those three.
Perfect, like from like an actual screenwriting perspective, like that opening bit, like your job is to say who these people are, and you know, like that, you just know. You know, by the time you get there, you know who they are. And I don't know how they do it, and you already feel like you knew them.
Yeah. For fear of a 10-minute tangent, which I actually think will be justified this time. So I'm going to put a pin in 10-minute stretch. This is our first Coen Brothers movie, which is a big event.
Oh, really?
It is indeed. Don't worry. There will be plenty more. Garth, what's your relationship with the Coen Brothers? What's sticking out for you?
Let me have a look at this IMDb.
So we got Fargo, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Raising.
You know, I met some people recently for the first time ever who didn't like No Country for Old Men.
Oh, why?
How strange is that? They just said nothing happens.
Oh, the entire film flies by for me. But the middle 30, where Josh Brolin is on the run, is some of the finest tension.
I actually, this is my question to you. When you're watching a film, I rate a film, I think, by performance, screenplay, how it's shot. But I could watch something filmed on an iPhone, but if it's good script and good acting, I'll watch forever, right?
Okay, right, yeah.
And I would say, and for No Country for Old Men, I just think the performances in it are just so strong that, to be honest, they could do nothing, and I could watch. But yeah, no, that was weird. They didn't like that, but I think it's very good.
It's very good.
Have you done that on the podcast yet?
No, we haven't as of yet.
Well,
there you go. You're in, Garth, when we do it.
No,
That's a great Oscar race. The 2007 Oscar race is incredible.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
It is good.
One. Maybe we can do it in person. That'd be nice.
Well, provisionally. Is it? But is Big Lebowski your favorite, Coen?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite films, Tom.
I've always been not really, because after 2 episodes I thought, oh my, this is actually incredible. But Fargo the series is astonishing and always surprises me how good it is.
Next on my list, I haven't seen it.
No, Fargo's excellent. Film and series. I'm going to take that pin back to 10-minute stretch. Meeting Maud Lebowski, Maud Lebowski, the wonderful Julianne Moore, and all of that. Some men are frightened by it. Even the word vagina gets me every time. That's
quite like the comedy they're doing there works so well in today's, like, everything that's going on right now with culture and film and everything. That scene is literally referencing now. When you first watched it was funny, but it has got quite a lot. There's quite a lot of subtext under there that you could unpeel, I think.
It does also have the incredible commentary of the porno, log jamming with Kyle Hungus and Buddy LaJoya, the wonderful Tara Reid and Peter Stormare. And the story is ludicrous, is a line, again, that always gets me. Well, you can guess what happens next. Fixes the pipes.
Man.
Just excellent stuff. However, I've got to change. How much? So she is butt naked under that harness completely, because we see everything, and then she takes the harness off. How much must that hurt to do that full harness on bare skin?
In it can't be. Gravity's a thing.
It's a thing.
Like, it always is. There you go. If that's something your audience now know.
Then she puts on her robe.
Yes, Big Lebowski, man. Honestly, yeah, I don't understand it. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know what happens in that film.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched it last night again, but I enjoy the sequences so much. I mean, I really don't understand the guy, the mustache guy. Who he meets.
Walter.
And he's just like, hello, how you doing? You know what I mean? He's all
the private eye, Mr. Shobats.
Yeah, there's quite a bit in this film. It's not one you question.
No, it's not. The famous story is, I think it was, I can't remember. It's either Henry Faulkner adapting, right? Yes, it's somebody adapting Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep into the film. And he called him up, the original writer, and he said, "Who's this? I can't figure it out." And he goes, "I don't know," because I think it's intentionally a plot and a mystery that does have does have big holes that just don't make sense, and not in the here. It's played for comedy. Whereas in Chinatown, it's obviously, there are things in Chinatown that don't make sense, legitimately don't make sense. And that's obviously played for this grand evil. Chinatown, excellent. Mr. Gitz. Other 10-minute stretch. Arthur Digby Jr., as we just talked about, the TV writer who he goes to see, and he's living in an iron lung. And Walter loves it.
Oh my god! That is so funny. That whole sequence for me is probably. It's impossible to say this. I mean, I like this question, Tom. I do, and I think it works well for other films. but The Big Lebowski, there isn't a scene that I don't love.
I had to stop myself because for single minute, I was literally I put
every minute.
I put opening credits, then I put bowling in 10-minute stretch, and then I went Philip Seymour Hoffman talking about the medals, and I was getting to a point where I had to stop myself and go.
And we haven't even got to Jesus yet. You know what I mean? We're not even there.
Fucking go click.
We haven't talked about the fight scene. There's so much. Oh, I love the fucking car thing when he's like, fucking amateurs.
Yeah.
You're fucking animals.
Run through the jungle.
Yeah, Tom, I don't know. I just think we should just say the film's great.
And end. Job done.
Well, I don't have a podcast.
Well, there we go. Other 10-minute stretch. The Jackie Treehorn into the dream is pretty unassailable. I love Ben Gazzara.
All the dream sequences, they're great.
I actually have the first dream in my change, but do you know why it's in my change, Garth?
Why?
Because it got to an hour and I realized I didn't have a single change, and I felt like something needed to be said. I don't actually want to change the first.
No, that's it, Tom. I did when I watched it last night. I watched it for the first time ever with a critical eye because I was like, you can't just come and talk to Tom about how much you love every second of this film, even when it almost feels unjust when you're watching it.
Yeah.
But I honestly. Probably the funeral scene for the best sequence, just because it's iconic. I'll never forget it. Like when he throws that, he starts talking about Nam.
Because it's that playing of expectations. It starts off so nice, and then suddenly you hear the line,
even at
like so many young men died, and I thought, oh no.
Even at the morgue when they pass, he goes, "I'll take it," and he looks and he goes, "What's that?" Yeah. He's like, "Oh, we don't need it. We're spreading the ashes."
Incredible taking off of the glasses. And also, so
that was
so cold. They keep calling it a receptacle. And Steve Buscemi, I've always been one of those people. Again, I'll eventually be a struggling actor, so I won't want this to be a thing. But I've always had the opinion of, why not cast big stars in those two role scenes? The fact that Steve Buscemi is Donnie is an exceptionally written character. And as you say, those initial scenes bring us into the world of this character immediately.
He's completely he's the only necessary point in this whole film.
But having Steve Buscemi just amps that by 10, because we have a relationship with Steve Buscemi. We love Steve Buscemi. Even Mr. Pink, you can't fully hate, because he's
almost respect him more, don't you? Because you know how talented he is.
I watched
he's such a fantastic actor, and then he's taken a role where he's just he is. I can't even explain it. Like when you're in when you're in like plays at school and stuff like that, and they're like, well, the bit parts are still parts, It's almost like he had but it actually makes sense in Big Lebowski because he doesn't say a lot and he doesn't do a lot, but you care about him as much as all three of them. I don't think it's the dude's film. I think it's those three.
Again, playing on those old noir tropes. The dude is obviously in every scene, same as Bogart's in every scene of The Big Sleep.
Oh yes. And now I know what you're talking about.
There you go. And then the ending, which you just alluded to, which moves us into Tom's weirdly specific favorite parts of the film, which was very tough because arguably this is the most every gag in this film is a weirdly specific gag. Him picking out his glasses out of the toilet bowl makes me laugh every time. The Philip Seymour Hoffman opening the doors. He's been in seclusion, and the music playing, and he's sat in the dark, and he's talking about it.
When he's getting drowned in the toilet when they're in the wrong Lebowski, pulls him up, and he's like, "Where's the money? Where is it?" And he was like, "I don't know. Let me have another look."
Yeah, I think it's still down there.
That shows you exactly who this character is. He's just always chill. He's not threatened. Is he Jesus as well? I've seen a theory online that he's based on Jesus. Probably can't say that, can you?
He's the what do you call it? It is a religion now, Dudism.
Yes.
And many people follow it. Yeah, they do the Big Lebowski. They do the Lebowski Fest each year. It used
I would
to
go
be.
to that.
I would go to it too. It used to be at the bowling alley, but then they tore the bowling alley down.
Yeah.
And so now it's at a different bowling alley.
Tom, should we go?
Do a pilgrimage.
And me and you will just fucking go to the Lebowski thing, hang out with all the...
As a kid, I always
It's a strange crowd.
Probably.
We're strange.
As a kid, my pilgrimage idea was to go to every Planet Hollywood ever, not knowing that it was a full chain restaurant. I thought they were a bit more special.
Man.
And also,
you're going to Tenerife.
Yeah. This was also when I realized there's nothing wrong with Tenerife, Garth.
No, I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's my favorite holiday destination. You know me, man. Sun and £1 cocktails. Yes, please.
I also forget that it's just the same props over and over again because you have to make multiple props. So there was I think it's in Beck's autobiography where he says, I was one time at a Hard Rock Cafe and I looked up on the wall and it said, this is Beck's guitar. And I said, no, it's not. I've never used that color guitar. So it's also
wow,
to
really?
take everything
That's
with a pinch
so
of
upsetting.
salt.
I had an issue with them before, but now I really have one. I don't know what the issue was before. I just never liked them. I didn't like the
food, most likely.
It's really expensive, isn't it? But in reality, it's just a burger, isn't it? And you're like, and now that's not even like Elvis's face. Like, I'm not gonna go there.
But there's a gremlin behind you because they made over 100 of them. So they. I've seen the Titanic door though.
How big is it?
Do you want a 20-minute tangent on why people annoy me when they say the Titanic? They both try to get on, and it flips over. They make the point in the movie. He's sacrificing it anyway. Are you a big Titanic man, Garth? I obviously am majorly into Titanic.
I have seen it so many times, and I do enjoy it a lot. I don't know why I love it. I love the ending. I think that's what it is. I always cry. I always it gets me with the violins, and they're like, "Oh, just one more, chaps." You know what I mean? I like to think I'm that guy. I'd be like, "Yeah, one more, chaps," and I'm like, "Ding, ding, 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 ding."
Don't listen to. No, what's the point? Nobody's listening to us. But they don't listen to us at dinner either. Come on.
Oh man,
it'll keep us warm.
I think it's that fucking like stiff upper lip bollocks in it. It's so commendable, and I think Leo's great in it.
Yes. It's a great movie. I think all these people.
Set design is
incredible.
It took me quite a few watches to really like it, but I do think it's great. I do.
As a kid or whatever, I would say it'd be the best film ever if they took half an hour out before they met and cut all the modern stuff. But now, as an adult, I think that's the most stupid thing in the world. The modern stuff.
You were an opinionated kid, weren't you?
You watching?
I would just watch like Finding Nemo and be like, yes, no more, nothing more can be. I still stand by. Have you done Finding Nemo yet?
No, we haven't.
Can I do that one too?
I'm sure Finding Nemo will find its way.
Okay. Are these episodes ever going to come out, Tom? Because I swear I've only seen one. And I've done like 100.
Have you seen the SNL sketch where it's Michael Keaton and he's like a pervert children's TV show host, and he's like, this? And he's doing it all to the audience, and he's singing his song, and he's like, "Let's go to the clock, let's go to the clock," and then eventually, and they're all obviously people inside the clocks going, "Hello, I'm a clock," and then like halfway through, one of them goes straight faced, "Where are all the cameras, Toby?" And it's just this weird guy that's constructed it all. It's very funny, but I've ruined it.
How did we get there, Tom?
I don't know. It's a deep dark hole, and then I followed it in.
I told you, Tom, you got to stop like just coming to these podcasts drunk. I've told you last time, I'll tell you this time, man.
Now the favorite part.
Titanic is the most beautiful.
Titanic. I told you, Titanic is great. I love the old.
Started on that door, right? They showed me in the fucking.
They showed. They capsized. The Autobahn album cover is incredible. Maybe my favorite gag in the entire film is, again, one of those classic even I know the bloody pencil on the thing trick. And he's like, oh, he's actually going to be a detective and he's going to figure something out. And what is it? It's a big cock. And it's just Ben Gazzara having a great time as Jackie Treehorn. He's going to come up later in Best Line. Love some of his takes on
we're doing Best Line, man. I don't know.
The throwing of the mug, just how brutal that really is.
What bit's that?
Where he throws, I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off nature.
All right. Yeah,
Keep out of Malibu, you fascist! And he throws the mug.
Yeah.
I love when they've had sex, and Maud's doing the fetal position, and he's got a joint, and he goes, "Is that yoga?" And she goes, "It." And then he does the great spit take. The bit that you were talking about.
She just comes round, doesn't she? Isn't she like make love to me or something?
Make love to me, Mr. Lebowski.
And then it's just like we see the dude in his element, like he's just laying there in his bed. And why has he always got like this much of a joint left? Do you notice that? You never see him. It's like they never show you him smoking weed. Just the end, always the end. What's that?
But then I think, great, because every other film, it's like it's always full. It's always a full cigarette or anything. I love, the most obvious one's in the bath when he's got that tiny, tiny one. He's really sucking that one dry.
Just always smoking just a little bit of weed. And it's almost like you never get to see him smoke, but you only ever see the effect, you know? And it's a really interesting choice. Also, it would be annoying because you need to show him smoking a lot, don't you? But you just don't want every scene of like, you know.
It's spaced out with the drinking. I feel
the drinking's good.
The drinking's excellent. Are you a White Russian man, Garth?
You know what? I haven't ever had one.
Oh,
so I'm very
beautiful.
I know, but I'm scared of it.
Why? Because you think it'll be too nice and it won't.
Cocktail bar. It's because they're so I only started drinking cocktails since I've been in London, so it's like they're so expensive that I'm scared to fuck it up.
It's a tough one because of the milk.
Yeah, that's why it feels weird, man.
I once worked at a cricket club, and there was a big 21-year-old party, and there's all these big girls. No, these 21-year-olds, and they're all having a great time. It's prosecco, and they're all on gins and vodkas, and one of them was having double Baileys as like her session drink for the entire night, as in the round would be 3 gins, 2 vodkas, and a double Baileys on ice. And then they went off into Leeds for a full night out.
That's the person, right, who throws up and they're like, "Oh, that's not happened before," and you're like, "It's because you've drank a liter of ice cream, essentially."
My dad's advice for weddings: if they haven't served the meal yet, get a pint of Guinness because it's like a meal in a cup and it'll put you on.
Your dad is just so much more manly than me. You know,
I thought you were going to say than me. So.
Yeah. Oh no, there's no question about you, Tom. You're such a.
That's sad.
I tell you what, a Guinness is. How do you feel about Guinness?
Love Guinness. Yeah,
I love a Guinness.
I like a. Speaking of Kahlua, I like a Kahlua and a Tea Maria and a Guinness. Sorry.
Not like that either.
It's very nice. We move on to.
We just use this to catch up, don't we, Tom? Really.
Garth's more general favorite parts of the film, all weirdly specific parts. What's jumping to mind for you when it comes to little tiny details that really?
I love the bowling sequences.
Yeah,
I love the bowling sequences. You know, like even when they introduce Jesus and he's like putting his hand over like the heater.
Oh yeah,
because it's something about watching a bunch of fuck ups be really good at something that, like, you know, like they found what they love and they're good at what they love, and it's so refreshing. I guess it's quite relatable, even like in like acting, isn't it? Because right now we're not making any money from it, but we love doing it. You know, so it's relatable in that level for me. So I love that they took it seriously. It's like Breaking Bad when they make meth. You know, like they really make it beautiful.
I think it's underrated. The amount of times you get this is my two-pronged thing. I always say when it's like he's the greatest writer in the world in a movie or whatever, you cannot show anything he's written because it will never be the best thing in the world. You can't do, that's the only one you can do that for though. Like songs, if you're making a film about a band, you have to write a couple of bloody good songs. You have to believe. That's why all of these music biopics are of real musicians. They're never, there's no, apart from
because you'd have to.
Yeah,
no, that's about. I hadn't thought of that. That's smart.
And again, it's very obviously there's the point of us not showing the dude and Walter not bowling, but just as you say, showing that they're excellent at bowling. It's not just a
and they love it.
Yeah,
and it's a team thing. Even the you know what, weirdly Pacific. You know, he gets back after he's pulled the gun.
Yeah,
over the line. He gets a voicemail from like the head of the clubs or something, like the league owner, and he's like, "We heard it," and it's almost like in this world, that bowling thing is everything. Like there's politics and there's status and there's good and bad players. When
Donnie comes over in the middle of the conversation after the bag of money drop off. And he goes, Donnie, shut it. Sorry, Donnie comes over. They've posted the league timetable. Donnie, please. They've posted the league timetable. And it's John Goodman is incredible in those little moments of changing. One of my favorite John Goodman moments is at the end when Donnie dies. And the dude's, somebody shot him. And he goes, no, there were no shots fired. And it starts as a Vietnam joke of there were no shots. And then he goes, no, call the ambulance. He's having a heart attack. And again, I would go if I wasn't subtle.
It's done really nicely. That's what it is it's this world of ridiculousness, but then they bring you, but they only give you a taste of sincerity, you know? Like, you know, that like really careful, like that's only one line. And then the next line is them talking about putting ashes in a fucking like chicken box. You know what I mean?
In a coffee tin,
oh man, that's so good. I don't know, there's a part I loved it when I was a kid and I loved it watching it last night, and that's when they're like, okay, we'll take the money that's in your pocket and we'll call it quits, and he's just like, no, there's something about that scene. And they've got, and like Donnie's like, I've got $12, you know, and he's just there like, no. And that's that scene, that whole sequence is just so I don't know, powerful. I think it's powerful.
Soundtrack corner, killer soundtrack. Bit of Bob Dylan to kick us off with. Well, no, not kick us off with the Tumbling Weeds song, but then we have Dylan, Man in Me, just killer 70s Dylan.
I have nothing to say about the soundtrack other than well done. You know what I mean?
Well, you do have something to say about the soundtrack. So the way that we split this is best song full stop.
I guess it is a podcast, isn't it? I can't, that's not a response.
Best song full stop, as in just best song on the soundtrack, and then best use of a song in the film.
You're going to have to give me some songs, Tom. I can't be like...
So I think we can tie it down to Man in Me, which is the opening bowling, the opening Bob Dylan.
Can you hum each one to me?
The Man in Me will do nearly anything.
We'll go with it.
The Gypsy King's Spanish version of Hotel California. You know,
I listen to that now. It's on my I listen to that song when I'm skipping, right? And I couldn't remember where I heard it from. But then last night when I rewatched Big Lebowski, I was like, that's where it's from. That song has been in my life since I was a fucking kid.
I'm going to say it. I love the Gypsy Kings. I'm a huge Gypsy
Kings I'm a huge fan. They're fantastic.
Bamboleo.
Man, are you just like, man, that's just great music. It's music that could never come from this country, you know, because we just don't have sun. You need sun to make that music.
And also, it's just killer holiday music. Everyone loves the Hotel California. Just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in by Kenny Rogers, which is the second dream, the big dance. So I'm going to say, and Run Through the Jungle, Creedence Clearwater Revival, when they're dropping off the bag, just to wowzer of a track. I'm going to say best song, full stop, Man in Me, Bob Dylan. Best use of a song, I'm going to go for Just Dropped In to see what condition she was in. What are you thinking, Garfield?
I'm going to just agree with you, Tom. Because I could split hairs, but I think I could say probably any song, and I could argue it probably, but I don't know. I think they work really well. Oh, you're doing something.
Speaking of Titanic, it's Oscar travesty time. I'm not going to make the argument that it should have been nominated for Best Picture. I mean, in a perfect world, yes, of course.
I think it should have been. It didn't do well when it came out, though. I didn't know that. It took 6 years or something before
major box office flop. I mean, yeah. At this point, the Coen brothers are not a major name. Fargo was a hit, and it was good at the Oscars. But you know, these aren't major movies. The Coen brothers aren't really a major name. Even still now, Hail Caesar made some money, but it wasn't a huge win.
No, it wasn't.
The lack of a screenplay nomination is, however, egregious and it's
disgusting. Especially if you've got the full Monty in there. So if you're gonna, it almost feels like Big Lebowski should be there instead of the full Monty. Don't get me wrong, I do love it, but they're not.
I'm going to besmirch the name of my idol Woody Allen, which is not a thing you should say anymore. But Deconstructing Harry is lesser Allen, and I'm happy to.
To be honest, like I don't believe Matt Damon and no, I'm joking. There's a big thing out there, isn't there, that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck didn't write Good Will Hunting.
Well, the big story is basically William Goldman, screenwriting legend. He wrote Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, Misery, Magic, great film, and The Princess Bride.
Quite good, this bloke, isn't he? He's quite good.
It's good. And but on top of that, he was also a major script doctor. So a script's not shit, but a script needs work. Okay, send it to Will and he'll do a draft.
He'll work out what is missing.
So basically, Good Will Hunting, the original script, had another 40 minutes of him going on the run from the maths people. They brought in the FBI because he had secretive information, and it's like a 40-minute thriller.
See, that sounds like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Like, I get that.
I'm going to, it's very loose, this episode, Big Lebowski. Just in case it does get picked up, I just farted, and it was louder than I expected. And that's the first time this has happened in over 100 episodes. So, I'm going to admit it. I have no shame. We all do it. LA Confidential.
I realize you can edit stuff. You know what I mean?
No, but you were making I was making a good point about William Goldman, and it was literally over what you were saying.
I didn't even notice.
Well,
I can see you getting a message from Lauren. I hope she's okay. Are you okay, Lauren?
Oh my God, this is being seen. I'm sure she's fine. She'll probably be asking about printing off BAFTA sheets. As time of recording, the BAFTAs are Sunday, and I can't wait for all of my favorite films to not get anything. For me, the screenplay nomination's egregious. I'd make a shout for Bridges for Best Actor. However, I still think that Damon should have won over Nicholson, and this is coming from Nicholson is my favorite actor ever. One of those things. What's next? Best single minute. As we've said, I think we've hit on a lot because this movie is really best single minute.
I take the structure out of this, Tom. I just talk about it.
But here are a few that we haven't talked about yet. Philip Seymour Hoffman doing the medals is astoundingly good.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. You can yawn. I can fart. We're loose today. But Philip Seymour Hoffman, mainly when he's reacting to Tara Reid offering to give him a blowjob for $1,000, and he goes, which is obviously a meme. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman, obviously. I just love Philip Seymour Hoffman. Makes me sad every time he's on. Really.
It's hot in the dressing gown, Tom. I'll tell you that.
It's hot. Wrap it up. It's cold.
It's hot. Sorry,
take it off.
No, but I feel like I've got this far into it, so I don't want to dash it now. Only the true fans are listening.
Jesus, which we talked about, John Turturro. I'm going to fuck you in the ass Saturday. I love that he's a sex pervert. No, really, he's a pervert. And Again, and even the smallest little things are great gags. Him having to knock on every door, and it's that big burly guy that's clearly going to beat him.
They're not afraid of the silly in this film. You know what I mean? Because it is silly, but I don't know. How would you write the? Oh, fuck. I would love to talk to them and be like, "What was the first day of writing this like? You know, what was the spark? Where did this come from? You know, because normally when I have an idea, I'm like, oh, I'd like to make a film about something like this. I wonder what it was, you know? I
am in no way going to say that we have the same writing experience. I have the same writing experience as the Coens. But then and again, I'll have a bunch of little great ideas that I know can't be full scripts. I will then work to make some sort of framing to put them all together. So maybe it was something like that, because all these little factors are so bizarre and so separate.
Yeah, like they had a bunch of. I feel like they've thought of the character, the dude. They saw it, because there's people like that, you know.
There are.
They're like it's like Buddhism, really, isn't it? They're just like it's that theory of like, fuck it, you know, like you'd be fine. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about, but I like it.
I love them going to see the neighbors play.
Yeah. The neighbor.
Incredible stuff. Just incredible stuff. And again, all those sort of bizarre LA, the amount of podcasts and stuff I've listened to where people from LA just say, yeah, this is about right. You watch Big Lebowski and you go, okay, that can't be how LA is. And then you watch, and then you're like, oh no, that's actually how LA is. A few tiny notes. Amy Mann is one of the people at the bar. She's one of the nihilists. I love Amy Mann. Love the Magnolia soundtrack is glorious. From I Am the Walrus, when he confuses Lenin and Lennon. I love the picture of Nixon bowling on the dude's wall. Again, one of those, even the smallest things. David Thewlis showing up for a little bit. Professor Lupin.
Tell you what, this sums up this film, right? How long have we been talking now? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's an hour.
All right, so we're an hour in, right? And we haven't spoke once about how his rug gets stolen. And that's the whole... That's the storyline of the film that you can grasp to, is his rug gets pissed on and then he goes and but we haven't mentioned the rug once yet. That's what this film is.
And arguably, that's the thing that people know. I always think of what's the thing that people who haven't seen this film still know. I'm losing the robe. I don't care. And
care.
I just don't care anymore.
I don't care.
Call ends. And the rug.
Friends anymore.
I've always been a rug guy. Have you been a rug guy, Garth?
Oh, I love a rug. Love a rug. I haven't got a rug, but if I could, I would. But it's a very London flat, innit? So there's no room for
a rug.
A rug.
A rug. No room for a rag.
It's getting late, Tom. I'm getting silly.
Best line. I mean, again, this could go for a good hour. So I'm going to be really strict, and you're allowed 3.
No, I've got I think I have my one.
Take it.
I knew you were going to ask this.
Take it.
Well, since you've said it, I've been thinking about it in this podcast. I just love that line when he's being shouted at, and he's like, "Yeah, but that's your opinion, man."
But that's just like your opinion, man. One incredible.
But he's like a bit defensive, but I don't know. There's something about that line. I think there's something to do with today's like how everything is now with social media and art and everything. I think it's just it's almost like it's an important line, you know?
Here's 3 that we haven't talked about. Nihilist, fuck me. I mean, say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos.
But oh my god, yeah. Oh, I totally forgot. You know what? I'm taking it back. I put a flag in the ground, Tom. I'm wrong. That's not my favorite.
Take the flag back out.
Because I love that fucking line. I love that fucking line, that one we just spoke about when he walks in and the guy's in the iron lung and he was like, does he still write much? Like, he's like,
we're a big fan of your work. I hope one day somebody comes into a room and shouts that at me. What the fuck is this? Obviously, you're not a golfer. And my final one, which I talked about earlier, Jackie Treehorn talking about the future of porn. Interactive erotic software, the wave of the future, dude. 100% electronic. And the dude, yeah, well, I still jerk off manually.
Man, honestly, I think every line in it.
Oh, yeah.
There isn't a line in it that's not gold. You know,
let's get...
You're out of your depth, Donnie. Isn't that like you're out of your depth, Donnie?
That's right. It's what's the change? Do you have any? No. I have only one pernickety one, which is why does he hate the Eagles? The Eagles are great.
Yeah, but it's so funny though.
It is funny that he hates the Eagles.
But he also, I love the Eagles too, but he gets thrown out the car.
You just get thrown out the car.
Yeah, even if you, that's such a good scene because if you hate the Eagles, then you're like, yeah, fuck the Eagles. But if you like them, you're like, yeah, get out of the car.
Yeah.
You know.
And also,
I mean, I know 2 songs from the Eagles, and I like both of them. So.
But also, it's peaceful, easy evening or living. I can't remember. And it is such a tepid. Got a peaceful, easy living. And it's like, yeah, okay, this could be the worst song to hear at the end of the worst day of your life.
Yeah, man, I don't actually know what I would change. If I changed anything, it would just be interesting. Like, I would just be like, I wonder what would happen if you threw someone, like, as in, I think there's room in that film for Rick Mail to be in it somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe in the David Thewlis part.
Yeah, something. I just feel like maybe someone like Rick Mail would bring something. I think maybe that's, but I think it's perfect. It's just if I was going to make a change, I'd throw him in and make him a drug dealer or something. That would be hilarious. You know?
It's time for a few fun facts.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Rick Mail. It's time for a few fun facts. Before filming a scene, Jeff Bridges would frequently ask the Coens. Would frequently ask the Coen brothers, did the dude burn one on the way over? If they said he had, he would rub his knuckles in his eyes before doing a take to make his eyes appear bloodshot. In an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, John Goodman stated that the dude referring to the Big Lebowski as a human paraquat was one of the only improvised lines to make it into the final film. Virtually every other line, including every man and dude, was scripted.
See, that's why it works so well.
That's why it works so well. A lot of the dude's clothes in the movies were Jeff Daniels, not Jeff Daniels, he's from Dumb and Dumber in terms of endearment. Jeff Bridges' own clothes, including his jelly sandals, which he still owns and uses to this day. Jelly sandals, big no from me. I don't know about you. Jesus Christ.
I'm not a sandal guy, Tom.
No.
I wear them on holiday and
You're
I enjoy them. I always get the cheap ones. You know, the middle bit. It always breaks out. Breaks out. I want their flip-flops, but they're the same shit, right? We're going to get that pernickety on here, Tom. Really? A sandal and a flip-flop? They're the same thing. They go on your foot, Tom. That's why.
They do indeed. This is John Goodman's favourite film of his own. Favourite film in which he appears, rather. Okay. Garth, you've got 5 each way. The dude says man how many times in this movie?
Jesus Christ.
You've got a leeway of 5 each way.
Can you... God, it's a lot, isn't it?
It's over 100.
Yeah, okay, that's what I need to know. Well, if he says 190.
147. In an early draft of the script, the dude's source of income was revealed. Because obviously he doesn't have a job, but he manages to still have a fine life.
What is your profession, Lebowski? I'm unemployed.
He was an heir to the inventor of the Rubik's Cube, which would have also made him Hungarian. It was Joel Coen's idea to drop this idea.
I'm glad they dropped that.
No, I could have had that as a line. Also, another dropped line. Obviously, there's the reveal that Walter isn't actually Jewish. However, in the funeral scene, in the original script, it was also revealed that he was never actually in Vietnam. Following Donnie's funeral, the dude was to yell at Walter, "You were never in fucking Vietnam, Walter."
That's something I always question as an audience member, whether or not. You know, I think it's interesting how he plays it. I don't know. That's interesting you said that because I always think that.
Tagline rundown. Here's some taglines. They figured he was a lazy, time-wasting slacker. They were right. Great. Her life was in their hands. Now her toe is in the mail. Great again. Some times like these call for a Big Lebowski. Not the best. It takes guys
It
as simple
started
as...
strong, Tom. Like the first one was great, and then it was a bit shit. And then that, what was that one? Say it again.
That was times like these call for a Big Lebowski.
Times like what? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Nothing happens in this film. That's why it's so good.
This one's okay. It takes guys as simple as the Dude and Walter to make a story this complicated, and they'd really rather be bowling. But that's so fumbled.
That's too clever. It's
so
too smart
long and fumbled. And then
like,
here,
the dude is literally like, you could just call it the dude, and you'd be like, oh, I kind of get it.
This was the Israel tagline, and this is translated from the Hebrew: Lebowski, not a man, a way of life, which obviously does give way to it becoming a religion.
No, that's good, because he does live this perspective of,
you
know, like it is his thing. I don't know. I've run out of smart things, Tom. I'm kind of.
Tom's big question. We talked about whether you're a white Russian person. Are you a bowling person, Garth?
Oh, I love bowling, man.
Fucking love.
I mean,
bowling.
I'm not like how Americans love bowling.
No,
you know, but I've bowled probably less than 50 times in my life, but I love it every time.
Love bowling.
I used to be quite good at it too. You know, I was always quite. I bet. How long did you use the ramp for, Tom? Because I bet you would.
Oh, you know how much I love rules. I'm like a fucking Nazi when it comes to people using the ramps. I go, how dare you? And then if they want, they're not pulling. They never pull that shit. I have no ramps in my.
Do you know the worst one, Tom? You know
the pushing thing.
They put the barriers up of the gutter, so you got people with a ramp, right, and the gutter up, and you're meant to play with them, but you don't. I won't play like that. Oh yeah, no, that annoys me. And they've got lighter balls anyway.
I was on a first date and I didn't allow ramps or barriers.
I bet there weren't a second one.
There was 3 glorious years, and then she left me. So he probably lets her use the ramp.
Well, then you say it like that.
When you say it like that, it makes sense.
She left you because of bowling.
It's the only way I can slip. Now I never bowl anymore.
We should go bowling though, me and you.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
Sure.
I bet you're good at it though, because you're like a giant.
I'm anal about everything.
Bowling balls with your hand size, with your fucking massive hands.
At the end, the stranger, who we haven't even talked about, Sam Elliott, talks about, and it gives me happiness to see that there's a little Lebowski out there.
Yeah, who is he?
Is there a world where you want to see the Big Lebowski 2?
No, not even a little bit.
Okay. The Coen brothers are doing it with Jeff Bridges, with John Goodman, and a whole other cast of characters. I don't know if I'm fully in, but
I'm excited.
The Coen brothers have only made 2 bad movies: The Lady Killers and Intolerable Cruelty, and even them have.
What was the last film? What was the last film they did?
The last film was The Ballad of Buster Scruggs on Netflix.
Do I want to watch? Is it the original 3 in it? Because
one of them's dead. So.
Oh.
Yeah. But Jeff Bridges and John Goodman. No, not in real life. Donnie.
No.
Steve Buscemi dies in the film. Yeah. Coen brothers are back.
I can't have it without him. Bring him back.
Maybe a ghost. They burned the wrong corpse. Do you remember that time where you burned the wrong guy? Grab your element, Donnie.
What are they going to do, though? What's the idea?
I don't know. Another mystery. I don't really want this. It's just 3 minutes of conversation. Which brings us to the end.
I just go fuck myself, Tom. Don't worry, man. Don't worry about it at all.
Brings us,
fucking lunatic.
Which brings us neatly to the end.
How you treat your friends.
I have acquaintances.
I am your friend, Tom.
You are my friend.
I'm recording now, you prick.
Yeah, and it's caught forever. Garth, that has been The Big Lebowski. Any final thoughts on The Big Lebowski? We're talking about this now. We saw it both within the past 24 hours. Maybe I'm speaking for myself. I could watch it next week and see new things every time.
It's one of the. I tell you what, it is better. I love it on my own, but watching The Big Lebowski with other people who love The Big Lebowski with you is a whole nother level. You know.
Yeah.
Like if we watched it together, we'd probably quote along with the film. You know.
Oh yeah. Well, that's part of the joy of a quotable movie. People. I think people every time we watch Titanic as friends or whatever, they get annoyed, and I think it's because nobody sees Titanic as a quotable movie apart from me.
Why isn't Titanic got a musical attached to it?
Multiple musicals, not to the Jack and Rose story, but there is Titanic the musical. There was The Unsinkable Molly Brown, which was just a musical about Molly Brown.
Because it'd be, I tell you what, that film would be a great musical, wouldn't it? Like the whole story.
But also,
I'm in the taxi. I'm in
Steamy Windows. Just do the Tina Turner song, Steamy Windows. Garth, you will be with us again soon. I don't know when, I don't know where. There is a schedule eventually. But you will be with us soon again. In the meantime, The Big Lebowski.
Fantastic film.
It's a fantastic film.
There's no other way to put it.
There isn't.
It's just fantastic.
The Big Lebowski.